I would ask that I supported every fee in lieu of project we've had to come to this county. Fee in lieu of would cost us more than the TIF would cost us in terms of dollars or opportunity costs that we would give up. So I would ask you to consider positively and vote against Ms. Rawls' motion.
Chairman Young, Mr. Smith owns property in the development. I think he should recuse himself from this vote.
Well, I think he's included with our attorney, David. I think it's okay for him to vote. He has had consultation with the attorney.
Okay, he is a property owner though.
Okay. Now, this is not an open discussion in the audience tonight. Mr. McCaskill. Mr. Singh.
I too have a great deal of heartburn, and so does the citizens who have called me repeatedly from the city of North Augusta, from the city of Aiken, from Beach Island, from Jackson, from my area, in the Valley area. I think the only ones I didn't get were from the Wagner side of the county. I got those. And one of the major sticking points, first of all, is the size of the TIF. The fact that Hammond's Ferry is being included in it. They feel that Hammond's Ferry, the 96 taxes there, tax rates, that it's unfair to extend those any longer. They feel very strong about that. They, when they start adding those years together, they say it's just not fair. Now tonight, I think that Ms. Rawls' motion will fail. I think you're going to see this move forward for the city of North Augusta when we vote here tonight. But because I have not, this is the part that really has shocked me. I have not received one telephone call in favor asking me to vote for this TIF. And that has amazed me because usually my calls are so mixed. You get some for, some against, and some in the middle. The only ones that have been calling are those opposed. And I have not, until I came here tonight, I truly did not know how I was going to vote on this. And, but I do feel like that the people that have called me have been very much a part of this county. And I do have major concerns. Another concern I have that Ms. Rawls brought up, and it's bothered me for a number of years, but now that we're going into, I believe it's the 4th year for our employees, and for other projects around our county that we haven't been able to do. We keep telling our citizens we don't have the money. And we tell our employees we don't have money, plus we tell our citizens we don't have money for those projects. Sometimes, but it's very hard to explain it to someone in a nutshell, in a few minutes on a telephone call. I don't think to these citizens it really matters because they don't understand it and they feel like they're not being treated fairly. And it makes them even more anti-government, I suppose. But I do feel tonight that this is going, Kathy's motion will fail and that it will move forward, at least for this body. I don't know how the school board will see it. But because of all the citizens and because no one who was in favor of it even bothered to call and didn't, that just amazes me. And all my emails, every one of them was anti. From people that I know, some people I didn't know, but all of them had their reasons. I will vote for Kathy's motion.
Yes, I do think that there are some considerations that need to be addressed with respect to the North Augusta TIF. There's no such thing as a free lunch when it comes to finance. Okay? The county would be giving up approximately $16 million over the next 30 years in operational monies. Okay, so we hear a lot of figures. You know, we talk about hundreds of thousands of dollars and millions of dollars, and I get to the federal government, we talk about billions and trillions. Okay, and sometimes it's kind of hard to get our heads around it. But basically, in practical terms, what we're talking about is a little over $1 million. We're going to basically be taking a mill from the taxpayers and diverting it to this one project. They're a little over $500,000. Okay. If the average salary for a police officer and benefits is $50,000, then what we're talking about is 10 sheriff's deputies. Okay? If we're talking about new road construction, we're talking about a certain amount of dirt roads versus paved roads. Okay? So that's the equation, that's the mental gymnastics that we need to be making, in my opinion, up on this group. And what we have here is somewhat of a hybrid, in that we have new commercial development, but you're also pulling in Hammond Ferry, existing residential properties that have already been developed, that were part of an original TIF back in 1996, and now we're going to extend that TIF for an additional 30 years. So in effect, what you're doing is you are taking a neighborhood, a very wealthy, affluent neighborhood, and you're basically diverting their tax dollars from the general fund into the operations, outside, to take it away from operations in order to promote the TIF that's adjacent to it. And it actually violates the spirit of what a TIF is about. But that's not an ideological argument, it's a practical argument. And so we're taking a whole group of people, and we're basically telling them, okay, your tax dollars are not going to go to fund the greater good, your tax dollars are going to go to fund this one project. I could vote for it if we put the millage at the 2012 rate for the existing residential properties. And then my hand would go up, because I think it'd be very positive, right? Unfortunately, despite all the merit in this particular proposal, I'm going to be forced to support Ms. Rawls' motion.
When you were referring to the 500,000, that's just on the new portion. There's an additional 500,000 in the Hammond's Ferry. So that would actually be 2 mills.
Correct.
I simply don't believe that the county can afford to give up this money, even though it is a worthwhile project, because of the needs that we have within the county. And the fact that we are going to be short or have a very tight budget again this year, and the state continues to cut the funds that are supposed to come back to the county. Our employees have not had a raise in 4 years. We need to do something about that. We need to we have to prioritize what we have. And when I do that, I'll have to vote against the TIF.
Ms. Hightower?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'm having problems trying to understand the difference between this waterfront development and Sam's coming to town. What is the difference between the two? I mean, will we give Sam a TIF?
No.
We give them a fee.
What is the difference? Both of them retail operation. Both of them going to hire employees. What's the difference? So I have a problem with this TIF as I understand it has been proposed. So I'll have to vote with Kathy.
Again, for me, this is a really bad precedent. It was a terrible precedent when we did it in Jackson, town of Jackson, and it's a terrible precedent now. A TIF ought to stand on its own in order to be a legitimate TIF. Okay? If you have to pull in other properties in order to make the numbers work, right, then you've irreparably damaged the whole, in this case, the whole of Aiken County, and we can quantify it. It's $16 million. It's $60 million to the county, $30 million total. Well, $60 million for the additional, total of 30, but I'm more concerned about the original $16 million that I know would be collected.
Ms. Hyson?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Singer brings up some valid points, I think, and certainly Mr. Smith does. And I had some trepidation about using the 1996 valuation versus the 2012 valuation. Since we don't have an opportunity to make any amendments, I think that the value that this TIF will bring to Aiken County far exceeds the cost in getting a major investment in North Augusta within the next foreseeable future, the next 2 or 3 years. And in that case, I'm gonna have to vote against Ms. Rawls' motion to oppose the TIF, and I would have to be in favor of it. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay?
I have had, and I am in favor of economic development. I think that is the way, out of a lot of our ills, economic development. I've had a lot of calls in favor of this. To counter that, I've had lots of emails and lots of folks that are in favor of this. Personally, for me, I need more information. We've talked about this once as a proposal, and I honestly wanted a little more expert advice on the financing. So I'm probably prepared to abstain due to lack of information.
Back to Ms. Rawls' motion to not approve. Okay, all those in favor of Ms. Rawls' motion, raise your hand. Ms. Rawls, Mr. Singer, Ms. McKenzie, and Ms. Tatow vote to support Ms. Rawls. Those who vote not to, Mr. Smith and Mr. Haskell. Those abstentions,
I abstain.
Mr. Silence, and I abstain. For the same reason that Mr. Silence did. There's too much out there that we don't know yet. And I've had calls, sure, as well as Mr. McKenzie, and my calls, for the most part, are in support of the TIF. With a few exceptions about some issues they have, and I want to talk with them. I'm just not prepared to vote in favor tonight without each question being answered. So that's why I'm abstaining.